All right, guys, I finally got around to watching Alien Earth. I've now seen the first 3 episodes. The main reason why I have not gotten around to watching this show is because I had not watched any of the Alien movies because I am not old. Yeah, no, I don't know, it's just a franchise that got by me. But I viewed this as a good opportunity to finally watch this franchise that I've just avoided my entire life. Um, Now, because I'm a bit of a silly Billy, I didn't just do the normal thing, which was watch all of the Alien movies and then jump into this. I decided to watch things in chronological order. So I have yet to see Alien or Aliens or Alien 3 or Alien Resurgence, whatever that one's called. I haven't seen any of that stuff. Alien Romulus, I haven't seen. You know what? I actually did play Alien Isolation. I'm now remembering this. Although I do remember falling off of it. I don't remember thinking it was bad. I think it's a little overrated personally. But I don't know. Maybe I'll jump back into it whenever it comes up chronologically in the timeline. So in any case, yeah, I'm silly. I watched only Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which, from what I understand, are like one of the worst, two of the worst movies in the franchise. Although I didn't think they were bad. Like, I think the main problem with them is just that people were, especially when it comes to Prometheus, people were kind of just expecting an alien movie, and then it's just not an alien movie until like the very end, where there's like a tacked on sequence of this is how the xenomorph came about. But personally, as someone that was just going into it fresh, I thought Prometheus was pretty good. Alien Covenant, I think, is in general just not as good as Prometheus. Anyways, I don't even know. I'm not trying to make this a review of Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I actually just want to jump into Alien Earth because I think that's what most people are clicking on this video for. I just thought it would be fun to give you what unique perspective this review is coming from. So, I'm not going to do a full-on spoilery discussion of the first 3 episodes since it's just a lot and I'm coming into this so late. So I'm also not going to do a spoiler-free episode. I'm just going to kind of broadly talk about them. Is that okay? Hopefully. If you haven't seen them, I recommend it. It's a very good show. So the first thing I want to touch on is the production value, because it's kind of crazy. Like, it's like honestly, it reminds me of Andor when it comes to Disney Plus shows, of like just kind of being surprised by how expensive it all looks, by all the sets, the tangibly built sets, all of the aliens and the xenomorphs and the whatnots. Like, they look really good. This is clearly an expensive show. I'm honestly kind of surprised that Disney would spend this much on an alien show. I feel like the franchise is obviously iconic, but I just don't know how relevant it is in 2025, and I don't know if they're getting an alien show is going to get the type of viewership that would justify an expense like this. But I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it exists, so I guess I won't question it too much. But yeah, it looks beautiful. I also really dig like the 80s vibes that I'm getting. Like especially the beginning of it, when you're dealing with this crew here, but even throughout the series, when it comes to all the technology and the monitors and whatnot of all the computers and stuff, it feels like the future, but like how people thought the future was going to look like in the 80s, if that makes any sense. And especially when you look at the clothes and the hairdos and whatnot. Although I will say it is a little incongruent with what I just saw with Prometheus and Alien Covenant, where it felt like, Ridley Scott made those movies more recently, so he has like a new version of the future than what I assume he had when he directed the original Alien, because I assume that that's what this is going for, where it's trying to look like Alien and not Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I think. Am I correct in making that assessment? I assume I am. But either way, I still think it looks really cool, the way that they handled it. But the big highlight for this show, I would argue, is just the fact that we're now getting information about Earth. Because so far in Prometheus and Alien Covenant, we hear about Earth, but we still haven't gone to it. It's just people on a ship in space. That's what this franchise has been thus far. I assume that's what it's going to be moving forward, because even Alien Isolation was like that. Again, like, we hear about Earth, we read about Earth, but we don't actually go to Earth. I assume that the rest of the franchise we're also not going to be in Earth. So I do think that is unique to the show, and I do think that it is just very interesting to actually see what Earth looks like. What like what the people are like, and the fact that they kind of reveal that Earth is run by corporations, it seems like. I mean, I think that there's still like an active government, but the way that they portray it is that like corporations run different parts of Earth, but like almost in like a mafia fashion, where like you have, because like the premise of the show is that the ship from one corporation lands in the on the land of another corporation, and so that's starting up this almost like gang war situation. And all that stuff is super interesting and cool. And I think it is like a nice backdrop to what I got in Prometheus and in Alien Covenant. I also thought that the whole synth versus cyborg versus hybrid distinction that we get here is also really interesting. Of course, we've experienced David thus far in Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Although I don't remember what is the good David called. Did he have a different name? Was it Joe? I think it might have been Joe. He was, I believe, a synth. And then in the show, we deal with hybrids. Do we deal with cyborgs? Oh yeah, the guy, the black guy that is working for like the Utah Way Corporation or whatever. He's a cyborg, right? I think. But anyways, I think that all that stuff is really cool. All the like questions about humanity and whatnot that the show is bringing up, I think, is also really interesting. So yeah, that's like that. Honestly, that's like the best part about the show, is that it's making just Alien more interesting for me than they did with Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Again, not trying to like completely shit on those movies, but yeah, like Alien Earth is so far, the world building is so much cooler. And yeah, we also have some super strong performances. Forgetting this character's name, but she's like the main character. I think she's really good. Like all of the hybrids, I think, are giving really strong performances, because they're like adults that are having to act like children, and I think they're riding that line really well. There were a couple moments where I thought that they weren't acting like children and they were kind of just acting like adults, but for the most part, I think they're really good. Timothy Oliphant's character, I mean, he's just great. I think he elevates. Like, I don't know that the writing for his character is necessarily all that great. I think that his performance is elevating it. I especially like the cyborg character that I was talking about earlier. I think he's probably giving the strongest performance in the show. I think he's very fascinating and interesting. It's like he's menacing, but there's also like an emotionality about him that I really like. But yeah, performances good all around. It's also very, tense in certain moments, especially like when this little alien guy is going after the soldiers that got tied up. Like these moments I think are very tense, although I have one pretty big criticism for the show here, and again, maybe this is something that has already happened in previous Alien media and I just haven't experienced it yet, but it just feels weird seeing the xenomorph nerfed like this, where it's just like, oh yeah, we have a gun that can just stun the xenomorph and he's down. It was just like, okay, I guess. I don't know, like, what is it going to be like watching the rest of the Alien movies after this? Am I just going to... is Ripley just not going to have this gun? Or the people from Alien Romulus just not going to have this gun? This very convenient gun that is powerful enough to stun the xenomorph? Why don't they have the gun? Like, we now have synths or at least one of the synths is able to actually take down a xenomorph. Are there not? Were there not uh, cyborgs? Or no, what am I saying? Sorry, no. We have a hybrid. Sorry, I'm getting my terms wrong. In our main character that was able to take out a xenomorph. Moving forward, are we not going to have any synths or hybrids or cyborgs that could take down a xenomorph? I mean, I'm just curious. Like, what is the like? Are we just going to conveniently not have any equipment, not have any like robots, not have anything that is able to take down xenomorphs? We're just going to conveniently have Ripley running around a spaceship, not knowing what to do. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I love the way that the xenomorph has now effectively been nerfed in the show. But that just goes to show how good the show is that I'm still invested and I'm still interested in everything else surrounding the show. So yeah, overall, that is my perspective on the show. I think a unique perspective coming from somebody that has only seen Prometheus and Alien Covenant because I want to watch everything in chronological order because I'm a little bit of a silly goose. So after Alien Earth, I will then, like, once the season ends, then I will go and watch everything else. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But either way, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Also, don't be an asshole. Don't spoil things. Don't. I mean, you can tell me if my assessment about the xenomorph being nerfed is kind of. You can tell me if that's been established in other projects, but you don't need to give me plot details or anything. Okay, just calm down, use your judgment or whatever. But I guess even if you spoil things, I'll probably forget. Goodbye.